Yeah, you bet. So we're going to talk about geothermal today, and I think it's such a great topic because it's a great topic for all of our listeners out there. You know, summer is just around the corner here, and it's starting to get hot. It's starting to get humid, at least in the area we're in. Of course, you know, you got these Bosch geothermal systems all across the United States.
Absolutely, across the United States and across the world.
So let's talk about geothermal first.
Okay.
Let's kind of do the geothermal 101 here.
All righty. Well, what is geothermal? I like to typically start discussing geothermal by kind of comparing it to an existing air conditioning system. So with your conventional air conditioning system, you know, it's removing heat from the house. And one way that you know that the unit is working is if you go outside to the outdoor component, put your hand over the top of the unit, and you can feel heat. So what it's doing is it's taking and absorbing the heat from inside the house and it's rejecting it out into the air, okay? Quite frequently you'll hear me refer to that as maybe an air source unit. Well, with a geothermal heating and cooling system, it does something similar in the fact that it removes the heat from home, it is absorbing the heat from inside the house, but instead of rejecting the heat out into the air, we're actually going and rejecting the heat into the ground. We're depositing the heat, if you will, during the summer season. And since it is a heat pump, in the winter, we also are able to heat the home. We reverse the operation, or the unit reverses the operation, and we're then withdrawing the heat that we have deposited all summer to warm our homes.
Now, I know if Dennis was here, he loves the deposit concept,
absolutely.
okay? So we got to talk about that just because he's not here today.
Right.
That deposit concept of putting that heat into the ground and being able to utilize that heat in the other reverse application actually is really kind of what you're doing there. But it's so efficient to be able to remove the heat from the house and put it into the ground, isn't it? And there's a reason for that, right?
We're storing the heat, and yes, you know, we across the nation we have different type of caverns, and that you can take you know, trips to and to actually go down into the caverns. One thing that you'll notice is that they're always a constant temperature. Well, that same thought process is what we're really tapping into. You know, the ground is a constant temperature versus the air. You know, in the summertime, you know, that the hotter it gets outside, the more our air conditioning is struggling to be able to cool our house, keep our houses cool. With geothermal, since we are depositing the heat into an ever constant temperature, we don't have the same challenges. That's one of the reasons why it's just so much more efficient to heat or cool our homes with geothermal versus with your conventional air source systems.
So or is there a traditional one?
Across the United States, you're going to have different methods that might be utilized. In the area that we are currently in, which is Texas, most frequently you're going to have a vertical loop system. You're going to have the way that is installed. You have a geothermal driller that comes and bores or drills about a 4.5-inch hole. In that 4.5-inch hole, we then insert a vertical U-bend pipe. The pipe is made of high-density polyethylene. It's about 1 inch. It's inserted into the ground, and once we have all the loops inserted into the ground, then we connect them and bringing one inlet and outlet pipe into the home to connect to the unit. The pipes are filled with water most typically. In other areas of the country where they have much colder climates than ourselves, they typically would use an antifreeze. For the most part, in Texas, when we're doing a vertical loop system, it's not traditional that we need antifreeze. We just don't
not
get that
quite as
cold.
cold, right? Exactly. So
Well, one thing when we start talking about efficiency, I want our listeners to always, you know, we want to be comparing apples to apples. Okay, so with that being said, what we want to look at is the EER, or energy efficiency ratio of a system, whether it be our conventional air source systems or whether it be geothermal. We always do a comparison where we can look at both of them with the same rating. We know that we're going to see apples to apples. So from the efficiency standpoint, your geothermal can go up to a bit more than 30 EER, I think 31 EER. So your conventional air source, the best you're going to be able to do with a conventional air source might be 13.5 EER. So we are more than twice as efficient as your conventional air source systems. And that's quite a savings from the standpoint of we can see some of our homeowners that might switch out from a conventional system to a geothermal can typically save up to about 70%.
Okay, so that's on the cooling side.